Carthage must be destroyed. Here is my bolt action Bersaglieri force. I did a bit of a vlog or something. I don't remember what I called it back in the day. But in my old place, I started sharing this project with you all. And I just wanted to give everyone an update since I last shared. I'm not sure what I talked about. It's been so long. But basically, I have a veteran Italian force here that's supposed to be based in North Africa. And I chose the Bersaglieri here. You can see on their helmets and stuff. We'll go up to the commander here as it clears. They've got that black feather on their desert helmets. We'll call them tropical helmets for a lack of a better term. But yeah, I continued painting these guys casually since then. And the full force is almost done, but I just wanted to share it here with you guys today. One thing I want to point out before I start talking about them is that you can see that I have like this textured board here. This textured board is just a 1 foot by 1 foot baseboard that I put weights on and then put a bunch of AK Desert mixed with, there's two on there. I think there's the AK Sandy stuff mixed with the AK Red Desert. I use the same formula. You can see I got some Afghans back here. They blend in a bit better than these other guys. These bases that I've done this on was all on the Citadel Dune stuff. I forget, Armageddon Dunes I think it is, or the other version of it, and I kind of tried to highlight it and prop it up with like stabby bone and such. However, I didn't like how it looked, and when I discovered AK stuff for my Afghans back there, it just looked better. So a lot of these forces were painted before or continued on from the old stuff, and that's why their bases don't match. But I'll tell you something that I prefer, and I get, you know, the more I paint, the more picky I get about this. A lot of people, and there's nothing wrong with this, but over here on my left, you can see that I have a Cigar Box Battle Mat Desert Dune mat here. And as I game and as I play, I'll take one of my older guys here, we always base our guys with these textures and grasses. Now, you can see a bit of dog hair there. A giant desert dog went by and left some remains. Anyway, the mat there itself, as you can see, I mean, you can either get like a flat fabric mat like I have here, or your mat's going to be made of like some mouse pad material or something else similar. To me, when I'm playing, it just doesn't mesh well. Like, I'm picky, and I know when you wargame it doesn't matter. But for me, putting a guy with a really nice textured base on a flat, non-three-dimensional board doesn't look as convincing as a board of texture. Now, even though these guys don't have matching bases, in my opinion, they layer better with the different texture than just the flat mat, right? I don't know if I'm just being picky, but that's me. And if I can make my own board, and I eventually will, using the Afghans, if I can blend everything in better, and again back here you can see how they blend in much better on the board on their bases there, I prefer that. And that's just me being picky while I'm painting my guys and putting them together. But in any case, my bolt action guys are not my prettiest guys I've ever painted. They're rather uniform and very easy to paint. Try and stabilize the camera here as I film. In any case, this is kind of like a traditional project, a transitional project for me, because I started this project in my older place where I was able to use a very matte spray-on varnish from Vallejo, and then I started painting more of this in the new place where I don't use spray-on paint at all anymore. In fact, I prime everything by hand, by brush, and I also matte down everything with matte varnish and use basically different varnishes using a brush again. So I've kind of taken a step away from using spray-on stuff. I find it's kind of messy and a pain to use unless you actually own a place that has space. Otherwise, in my apartment, I've just been sticking to paint on stuff. And I think you can kind of see here differences between the troops. I think I'll find an old one. Okay, for example, this guy here is broken. I've lost his gun, but I still use him for wargaming. Is this guy the same? No, he's a different guy. I gotta find a new guy that I painted here. Okay, I'll tell you how I designate them after. But in any case, I think you can tell on the camera here, the guy on the right here has a different kind of matte or appearance than the guy on the left here. And that's because I've used a different matte formula. To be honest, even on the camera and in person, it's not much big of a difference when you pull back and start looking at it from far away. But for me, painting up close, I do notice. Just another picky thing for me. Anyway, something weird happened when I moved to the new place. I think it might have been moisture from the matte spray I used before, but a whole bunch of guys started like warping colors, and some of them got damaged in the move, and I had to repaint them. They look fine now for wargaming, but what I've done, and I won't share all of them with you, you can see this kind of like blue cross on the back. Blue Cross here is kind of like a insurance company, but I paint these little blue crosses on the back of my older guys, and then there's two of my older guys from my old place, and then the newer guys I painted in the new place. As you can see on this guy, they don't have that blue cross. That's just for me to tell me which ones are old guys that I had to touch up and fix and do some weird revarnishing on, versus new guys, which I use my new techniques here and such. I still paint them the same formula. I just don't varnish them the same, and the old guys with the blue crosses have touch-ups and stuff on them that I had to repair. Anyway, that's just all technical notes. That's not really important. What you guys really, I guess, would like to see is the progress on this army since I shared it. And there's a little bit here. As you can see, I probably painted more soldiers. I actually only need to paint 3 more basic riflemen, and I'm able to field the ideal bolt action force I want for the Bersaglieri here. I do have some other stuff I haven't painted, like a normal mortar team and the big artillery gun. I forget the name, but it's just a bigger artillery piece. Those aren't important because they're extras to me. But I'll show you guys here as I walk through this now what the army is consisting of. So I break my troops into units of 8, 2, 4, 6, 8 there. And I give each man the, of course, the, I forget the name. I haven't played for the SDO. I don't remember the name. What? I don't play enough World War II. But basically, the leader of the command force there. What is he called? I'll think of him as I'm gaming. But he's got the submachine gun. They can only take 1. Some veterans can take more, but this army can only take 1. I've given each unit here a light machine gun team, and now I can take up to 2 in the veteran Bersaglieri units, but I don't. I just stick with 1. But yeah, each unit here, and I'll go to the next one, basically has, it's NGO, non-commissioned, NCO, non-commissioned officer, that's what I'm going to say. I think that sounds right. NCOs, right? I basically give all my forces here an NCO with 1 submachine gun, and then the rest of the forces, it's just going to be like, you know, a light machine gun team and seen in bolt action. And then the rest are riflemen, all veterans. This is, cut my video there. This is the unfinished force. I just need 3 more riflemen and it's done. And one of my forces, just simply because I don't have enough guys with submachine guns, 1 NCO, 1 model I just designate as just 1 dude with a rifle. And to me that kind of represents the Italians not having enough proper arms to go around. So in one of the units I game with, it ends up not having an NCO with the submachine gun. So that's the troopers there. Sometimes, and actually only once, but sometimes I use these Afghan guys as colonial troops. They're really dated with weaponry, but they work for like cheap, inexperienced troops. So I put them in some games when I need them. Otherwise I don't really use them, but okay. So, as for the teams and special teams and such, I finished up the anti-tank rifle. I don't remember the proper name, but of course they're veterans. I have the commander here, I call him Major Mario. I think it's an appropriate Italian name. I finished the machine gun team in the back there. And you can see again, their base, their texture doesn't really fit with the colors I switched to, but you know, for wargaming, it's fine. Here's my killing machine, the light mortar team. This one always gets really good kills. I don't know why. I'm really lucky with this team, but it's taken out, it's taken out carriers. I've hit tanks with open tops. It's good at taking out open top vehicles for me anyway. And I've killed lots of troops with this one. I don't know, I'm just lucky with that one. The other team I have, of course, is this, I don't remember the slot. I haven't played bolt action for like over a year, or started the year, I don't remember. But this is the Elefantino gun. That's another big gun to take out tanks and stuff. I did it with the wheels off. As for tanks, I think I've shared this one. This is my Scorpion L640, and it's my favorite looking tankette because it's small and cute. The first one I ever painted, and I added decals on the side since I painted it, was the Semovente here. And I've used it in most of my games. And that's only because I never got this one painted up, this M13. Now I showed this M13 on my latest decal Kickstarter, and you can see I've got the Sphinx on the side that is from the decals there. I also have the Auto Blinda, which is really, really good in games with its reverse and forward wheel drive. I can just zoom in and zoom out of shooting range. It's a really useful vehicle. I take it way more than I do the L640. And then in the back here, I'm not sure if this was in the last one, but I have a Perry L3. This one's fun just to use the double medium machine guns on, because it is really good at killing infantry, but man is it slow and everything dies when it's in the game. That's it for my forces that I've done up. There's my finger there for a second. I just wanted to share this all with you guys to show the progress. I only, like I said, need to casually paint 3 more guys, and I have my full playable bolt action force. Otherwise, I sub in my got the kitchen stuff in the background there. Otherwise, I sub in my my Afghan guys as colonial troops until they're done. But yeah, the idea is that I have 4 units of 8 veterans, and veterans in bolt action have extra defense, as you guys know. They have better morale saves, we'll call them, for a lack of better term. I forget. I have to review the rules. But in defensive positions, man, they're good. Like, I can be outnumbered and hold off lots of guys. As long as I'm in defensive positions, you know, they've just got so much more saves and the like. I want to point out just some cool things here. You notice in the back here, and this is kind of a show of the transitional stuff, you see that the 3 tanks on the left, and the, well, 2, I guess, one's an assault gun, if you want to be technical. One's an armored car, and one's a tank. Yeah. Anyway, the 3 vehicles on the left and the back L3 were all painted the same as the M13, but the M13 here appears more yellow. Now that's because the other tanks were varnished with my Matte Vallejo stuff, and they changed into that color, whereas I used the paint on stuff here. I just dry brush everything, but I used the paint on stuff for this tank, and it pops better, and I actually prefer it. It's a little too matte on these tanks, I think. So from a distance, you can tell that the color is different, but I prefer the paint on matte look. I like the little more yellow on the tank. The darker yellow there is still really nice for a vehicle. It's just the tank itself is a little more bright. I also, as I painted, and you can tell, you know, for my first Semovente, where I did very basic things, where I filled in the track, I originally didn't have a decal on it, but you know, the exhaust in the back, I didn't add in. Same with this here L6. I only added the decal, did very basic stuff. Ever since I got to the L3 tank, you know, I put on camo here. On the back again, I didn't do any exhaust work. But these 2 being my latest vehicles, you can tell I did a little more effort. I put more detail in the exhaust. You can see it's kind of a bronze color. On this one, I put sandbags on it, and I foolishly put sandbags in front of the part where the driver actually has to look out of. So it's a little too close up to the up to where the driver looks out, but you know what? It's already glued on and painted. I will forgive myself for that. I can just pretend the guy pops out the top, takes a look, and tells the guys below where to steer. But yeah, that's it. Vehicle-wise, I don't plan to add anything else. I am just going to do the last 3 guys here. I might paint some extras because I have them, just you know, for videos and stuff like that. And vehicle-wise, I'm basically done. I don't think I'll add anything. I might get a tow and put that in for the bigger artillery piece later. I do have some motorcycles for the Bersaglieri, but I'm not a big fan of how they were built and put together, so I'm not sure if I will ever include them. They're really brittle and made of resin. I forget who makes them. I think it's Dog Tag Miniatures. I didn't like them putting together. I may add them later, I may not. I'm not sure yet. Bersaglieri with motorcycles do look cool, but for wargaming, this is all you need. You don't need the motorcycles. As for terrain, I'm not going to share it all today because this video is longer than intended, but I have a lot more terrain. You can see I've done a bit more in the back there. I've done more desert terrain. It fits in well with the colors, and I have kind of one scheme that looks a little different on each different company's piece, but it turned out really well. what I want to do with these palm trees back here is repurpose them with the AK Reddish Desert because they'll blend in better to the board. Right now you can see there's a road from, I think it's Frank Fat's stuff on eBay. Doesn't blend in well, but that's okay, it's a road. And then if I can get that basis on these palm trees to blend in better, then I've got some very basic wargaming stuff along with the rubble and all that. Anyway, that's all I want to share with everyone today, just to show you guys the updated stuff I've been doing with these guys. I shared these a while back, and I just wanted to show everyone that I did do some progress on it, and it's almost done. I can already play full games of 1,000 points or so of bolt action, and that was the purpose of doing this army. So that is it for now. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more or want to check out future work, just like and subscribe to this channel. We will see you all on the next one. Have a good one.